Welcome back, everyone. Look, if you're laser focused on the bleeding edge of DeFi and tokenization, you are in exactly the right spot. The big challenge right now? Fragmented liquidity. But today, we're diving into an explainer on how the L4VA protocol is stepping up to solve this exact issue. We're going to break down their massive Q1 and Q2 roadmap updates, looking closely at how they're evolving their infrastructure, scaling those vaults, and gearing up for a huge token generation event. All right, let's jump right in.
So the devs over at L4VA love to use this volcanic theme, building heat, building pressure, laying down the bedrock. And honestly, that's exactly the vibe we're going to translate for you today. By organizing their rapid-fire updates, developer notes, and community announcements, we get a really clear, unified picture of the protocol's momentum. We're literally looking at the pressure they're building beneath the surface to establish a truly scalable asset management layer. It's like a giant puzzle coming together.
Section 1, Mainnet launch and momentum.
Their recent Mainnet launch was the spark that really ignited the protocol's growth over the past few months. And honestly, nothing tells that story better than the raw numbers. Right now, there's over 230,000 ADA sitting in total value locked, or TVL, across 16 active mainnet vaults. And as you already know, in DeFi, TVL is the ultimate metric of trust, right? It means real users are parking actual capital into the ecosystem, not just flipping speculative tokens. But here's what's even more compelling, the trajectory. They're already projected to cross 330,000 ADA super soon, basically as soon as the current vaults fully lock. That is real, measurable capital flowing in.
And a huge chunk of their development fuel is actually coming directly from within the ecosystem itself. L4VA just secured a $25,000 grant from the Cardano Builder DAO. That's a treasury-funded DAO strictly for builders, by builders. This isn't just cash, it's a massive ecosystem vote of confidence validating the tech they've shipped so far. It's totally critical fuel for their next big milestone, too. See, the team has this stated goal of hitting 2 million ADA and TVL over the next 6 months. If they nail that KPI, boom, it unlocks even more grant funding in Q3. It's this brilliant self-sustaining cycle of development and capital attraction. So, how are they actually capturing all this value? Well, let's look at one of their live vaults, which successfully fractionalized the very first minted NFT of the Berry collection. For a little context, Berry is the first major NFT collection on Cardano, so we're talking about a highly illiquid, historically significant asset. Normally, high-value assets like this are totally inaccessible to the average user just because of the sheer cost. But by breaking it into fractional tokens that perfectly track the underlying asset's value, L4VA proved their core concept in the wild. They showed us that, previously illiquid historical artifacts can totally be transformed into liquid, tradable fractions on a decentralized market.
Section 2, Rewards and Protocol Features. To really understand how this team is systematically adding fuel to the fire, we've got to talk vault mechanics. Standard vaults work exactly how you'd expect. Users whitelist a specific asset, toss ADA into the vault, and then wait. But L4VA has rolled out what they call acquire vaults, and it's a total inversion of that traditional model. With an acquire vault, a community contributes ADA first to pool their capital, and then they actively go out and hunt for high-value assets on the open market. A perfect example they cited is Earth nodes, the telecom nodes powering the world mobile network. Instead of one whale buying a node, an acquire vault lets a community team up to purchase these yield-generating assets together. It's a completely proactive, new form of decentralized collective asset management.
Alongside these new vault types, they've been busy deploying some major mainnet governance upgrades. They added official badges so you can easily verify legitimate vaults, and they implemented vault pricing with strict anti-manipulation mechanisms. But guys, the real game changers here are the expandable whitelists and acquire expansions. Since these are auto-enabled, vault token holders now wield direct governance power. In practice, this means if a vault initially targeted one specific Earth node, the community can later vote to open a new acquire window or even add entirely new eligible assets to the vault after it's already live. It puts dynamic control straight into the community's hands, letting the vault pivot its strategy as the market changes.
Now, to supercharge all this decentralized activity, they just launched the L4VA rewards mechanism, which acts as a seriously powerful incentive flywheel. You can actually check your profile right now and see exactly how much L4VA token you're earning just by engaging with the protocol, whether that's creating vaults, contributing assets, or acquiring tokens. This whole structure is built from the ground up to drive viral adoption. It directly rewards active DeFi users looking for passive yield, while simultaneously boosting the protocol's TVL in the short term. By tying your rewards directly to actions that lock value, they've made sure that protocol growth and user incentives are perfectly aligned.
Section 3. The Vault Pipeline.
All right, let's step into the actual engine of the protocol. L4VA is absolutely not limiting itself to just one asset class. Over in the real-world asset sector, RWA, they're building a proof-of-concept vault with a major tokenization platform to hold premium, fully insured, physical Swiss silver 1-ounce bar NFTs. Talk about bridging the tangible offline world straight to the blockchain. Meanwhile, in the DeFi space, they're working on loan default insurance vaults. This is a super fascinating use case. It basically means users can pool funds to underwrite risk for lenders. If a loan defaults, the vault covers the loss, but in exchange, the participants earn premiums on the risk they are taking. And of course, they're still actively helping grassroots communities fractionalize their high-value NFTs.
But there is one vault type we definitely need to look closer at, the Prime Vault. Pioneered by some community OGs, this brilliantly solves a major liquidity issue that plagues so many decentralized ecosystems. Here's the deal. Large token holders and project wallets can lock up their liquidity provider, or LP tokens, right inside an L4VA vault. Doing this drastically cuts down sudden sell pressure and guarantees a baseline of liquidity for the market. But the real magic? While those LP tokens are locked up safely, they generate $L4VA rewards and continue to earn automated yield from VeFi. Since VeFi is a popular DEX, these locked tokens are still actively earning trading fees. It's a killer dual yield mechanism that secures the project while maximizing returns for the liquidity providers. A total win-win.
Section 4. Cross-chain expansion in TGE.
All of these complex mechanics, they're leading up to a massive strategic climax, starting with a brand new technical foundation that was recently approved by the PENTAD. That's a group of founding entities aligned to launch critical infrastructure. They've greenlit USDCX integration, Pyth-Oracle integration, and the LayerZero omnichain standard. In plain English, LayerZero is an interoperability protocol that lets smart contracts chat seamlessly across entirely different blockchains. Combine that with the stablecoin liquidity of USDCX, and LVA is transforming into a heavyweight platform capable of supporting assets across major, highly liquid chains like Ethereum and Base. They aren't staying isolated in a single ecosystem, they're building direct bridges right to where the global liquidity already lives.
But of course, to make sure people actually walk across those new blockchain bridges, they've got to ramp up the marketing. And they are. They just onboarded Lucid as their part-time chief marketing officer. Lucid brings an established audience of 50,000 followers and some serious technical marketing chops from his time heading up marketing for Ada Handle. Alongside strategic internal hires like this, they're partnering with prominent KOLs, key opinion leaders like Linda. The goal is to crank out targeted educational content and ignite widespread awareness right before they launch the major platform update. So how does this all time out? Well, the strategic runway plays out in 3 distinct steps. Step 1 is happening as we speak, building up that TVL trajectory, improving the model with assets like the Berry Vault and Earth nodes. Step 2 is going to be a massive 30-day marketing push led by the new CMO and external partners. And then we hit Step 3, the big climax, a dual-chain token generation event, or TGE, targeted for late Q3. By launching on both their native chain and the highly liquid Base network, using that LayerZero tech we just talked about, they ensure absolute maximum capitalization. This dual-chain setup exposes the L4VA token to a vastly wider and far more active market from literally day one.
Developer Rob recently dropped a quote that I think hits the nail on the head. He said, "The market may be rough, but we are grinding and building as always." It just perfectly captures the infectious energy and relentless focus of this team. They're not sitting around waiting for a macroeconomic bull market to start putting in the work. Instead, they are actively stacking wins, rolling out complex governance, building cross-chain infrastructure, and prepping the ultimate launchpad. That way, when the broader market is finally ready, they're already miles ahead of the competition.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We've seen how L4VA is connecting disparate ecosystems like Base, turning tangible Swiss silver into digital fractions, and transforming passive LP tokens into active governance vaults. This is a massive shift in how we think about ownership, utility, and liquidity across completely different blockchain environments. It's the evolution from isolated, stagnant assets to fluid, omnichain fractionalization. So as these traditional barriers between blockchains and physical assets continue to fall, how will omnichain fractionalization reshape your own digital and physical asset portfolio? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes locked on L4VA as they march toward late Q3, and keep building your knowledge. Catch you next time.